there are only two industries who call their customer a user: the drug industry and the technology industry, right? How many users do we basically have? The reason why that's important is when you fire up your Facebook page or your Google page or your LinkedIn page or anything, all of that has been optimized and customized to you. And it's built on doing two things. One is to engage you, if possible, to enrage you. And the second is to make you feel so, so good about yourself. So to a great extent, it's a bubble. And the bubble surrounds you with friends who are in your bubble that surround you, with information that comes and surrounds you. And before you know it, you are nothing but a cow. They're sending you messages and they're milking you. That's basically it. You're basically a strip mine for the technology companies to strip you. And I know that might sound a little weird, but that is at the back is what is happening if you don't watch out. If you watch out, you can basically manipulate them. I'll talk about that in a different day. But with that being said, therefore, you need to do the following. Spend an hour every day learning new things, an hour every day. And you might say, well, I don't have that hour. Well, watch less sports, do less social media or whatever. If you don't learn, you're going to become irrelevant because the world is moving too fast. I, to this day, get up at 4 every morning and I study for 2 hours because I'm a bit slow, but most people can do it in an hour. That's number one. The second is try to do one new thing every day. And that doesn't necessarily mean if you can't walk out that you have to go to a different place, but meet a new person through Zoom, read a new book, see a new movie, do something new. Because when you do something new, your mind actually wakes up. And third, not in every case, but in many cases, try to build a case for the exact opposite of what you believe. Build a case for the exact opposite of what you might recommend. Build a case if you believe in a particular political leader, why a third to half of the country likes the other political leader. Because unless you can build a case for the other side, it's very unclear whether you really exercised your mind and you know both sides and you know how to protect as well as attack. So those are 3 simple exercises. Spend an hour or 2 learning new things. And it could be you want to learn poetry, you can learn a little bit about something else. I'll explain what I'm doing. So I decided I was seeing something very strange, which a lot of the writers that I was liking in newspapers and magazines were leaving the newspapers and magazines because newspapers and magazines are shrinking industries and couldn't pay these people. And I said, I wonder what they're doing. And they ended up, all of them, on a platform called Substack. And they were launching their own subscription platforms. So in effect, their thought was, if X News, Atlantic magazine, I'm writing for Atlantic magazine, I'm beginning to realize that a lot of people want to read me in Atlantic magazine, and I know what that is. Why don't I just say you can read just me, and you become a company of one, and you become a subscriber thing. So Andrew Sullivan, a lot of key writers have started doing that in the newspaper and magazine industry. So I thought that was a trend because I see that over time happening across everything. I said, maybe the content people are going to basically say we can monetize ourselves too. And you see that with podcasters, big deals with Joe Rogan. And so there's something happening in the multimedia, business, technology, talent landscape. So I decided that I was going to start using Substack. And so that was part of my education. So for 5 days, I learned everything about Substack. And I decided I was going to write my own newsletter. And I've started and launched my own newsletter. And if you go to rishad.substack.com, you can find it. It's completely free. So unlike other people which you're worth paying for, mine is completely free. It's ad-free. It's everything free. But it's tended to be popular, even though it's only 5 weeks old. I've already got 2,000 subscribers. And I talk about a lot of different things. The most recent one, I talked about the importance of being open, poetry, and minding the gap. If you're interested, go subscribe, rishad.substack.com, free. But it's a way I learned things. And then I began to learn, hey, maybe I can have a direct relationship with thousands of people, and I don't need to go through platforms to have a relationship with them. So you can see there's a lot of interesting stuff that you can do if you educate yourself, but you have to use, you have to learn, you have to do. It's very hard just sitting back and thinking about it.